I am sitting alone in my apartment right now, staring at a small velvet box on my coffee table. Inside is an engagement ring I bought 2 months ago. I was going to propose to Jessica on our trip to Lake Tahoe next month. We have been together for 3 years. 3 years of what I thought was building something real, something permanent. Yesterday, she sat across from me at our kitchen table and told me she wanted an open relationship. She said it so casually, like she was asking me to try a new restaurant. I agreed because I was terrified of losing her. I thought I knew what pain felt like. I was wrong. Before we go any further, I would love to know where you are watching this from. Drop your city or country in the comments below. If this story resonates with you, or if you have ever felt blindsided by someone you trusted completely, please hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. What happened next changed everything I thought I knew about love and loyalty. Trust me, you will want to hear how this plays out. Let me take you back to the beginning. Jessica and I met 3 years ago at a local coffee shop in Portland. I was waiting for my order when she accidentally grabbed my latte instead of hers. We laughed about it, and I offered to buy her a replacement. She declined but gave me her number instead. She was a graphic designer, creative and vibrant. I worked as a software engineer, more logical and reserved. We balanced each other perfectly, or so I thought. Those first 2 years were incredible. We took road trips down the California coast, windows down, singing terribly to 80s rock songs. Every Sunday night we cooked dinner together. She would pick the recipe, usually something ambitious from a cooking blog, and I would handle the prep work. We watched Marvel movie marathons on rainy weekends, debating which Avenger would win in a fight. She told me I was the one. We talked about getting a dog, maybe a golden retriever. We looked at houses online, imagining where our future kids would play in the backyard. 2 months ago, I went to a jewelry store downtown. I spent weeks researching the perfect ring. I wanted something classic but unique, just like her. The jeweler helped me pick out a white gold band with a round diamond, simple and elegant. I hid it in my sock drawer, planning the perfect proposal. I imagined getting down on one knee at Emerald Bay, the sunset painting the sky orange and pink behind us. Everything felt right, everything felt like it was finally coming together. But about 8 weeks before I bought that ring, something shifted. Jessica started going to the gym 5 times a week instead of 3. She bought new workout clothes, tight leggings and sports bras that showed more skin. She started wearing makeup to the gym. When I asked about it, she said she wanted to feel good about herself. I supported that. I wanted her to feel confident. But then she started coming home later sometimes, not until 9 or 10 at night. She said she was grabbing smoothies with her gym friends or working late on client projects. She talked constantly about personal growth and finding herself. She read books about self-actualization and listened to podcasts about breaking free from societal expectations. I tried to engage with her interests, but she seemed distant, like she was already somewhere else mentally. She mentioned a new coworker named Dylan more than once. Dylan suggested this restaurant. Dylan recommended that podcast. Dylan thought her design work was brilliant. I felt a knot forming in my stomach every time she said his name, but I pushed it down. I trusted her. Amanda, Jessica's best friend since college, noticed the changes too. Amanda and I had become friendly over the years. She was straightforward and genuine, the kind of person who told you the truth even when it was uncomfortable. One afternoon she stopped by while Jessica was out. She asked me if everything was okay between us. I told her I was not sure. She bit her lip, hesitating, then said Jessica seemed different lately, more secretive, more focused on herself. I appreciated her honesty, but I still believed Jessica and I could work through whatever this phase was. Then came that Friday night. Jessica made my favorite pasta dish, which should have been my first warning sign. She only cooked elaborate meals when she wanted something. We ate mostly in silence. After dinner, she cleared the plates and sat back down across from me. Her hands were folded on the table, her expression serious. She said we needed to talk. My heart jumped. I thought this was it. Maybe she found the ring. Maybe she wanted to talk about our future. Instead, she said, I think we should try an open relationship. The words hit me like a physical blow. I could not process them at first. I asked her to repeat herself. She did slower this time, explaining that she had been reading about ethical non-monogamy. She said we were young, only in our late 20s. She did not want to have regrets later in life. She wanted to explore and experience other connections while still maintaining what we had. She made it sound so rational, so reasonable. I asked if this was about Dylan. Her eyes dropped to the table. She said no, but the hesitation told me everything. I felt my chest tighten. I asked what would happen if I said no. She took a deep breath and said maybe we needed to take a break then to figure out what we really wanted. It was not a question. It was an ultimatum disguised as a suggestion. Either I agreed to share her or I lost her completely. I did not sleep that night. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, feeling like my entire world was crumbling. By morning, I was exhausted and desperate. I told her I would try it. Her face lit up. She hugged me, kissed my cheek, and said I would not regret this. She promised we would be honest with each other about everything. I wanted to believe her. I needed to believe her. The next week was torture. Amanda showed their mutual friends the text messages where Jessica bragged about her nights with Dylan. I showed people the conversation where Jessica first proposed the open relationship. Slowly, people distanced themselves from Jessica. They saw the manipulation, the selfishness. They saw how she wanted to have everything without consequences and threw a tantrum when it backfired. Jessica sent me one final email 3 weeks later. It was long, rambling, full of apologies and self-reflection. But my mind kept wandering. I imagined her with him laughing at his jokes, touching his arm. The images tortured me. I realized she had planned this all along. The distance, the gym obsession, the new clothes. She had already been emotionally involved with Dylan. She just needed my permission to make it physical. And I gave it to her because I was too afraid to lose her. One Thursday night, she did not come home at all. I appreciated her honesty, but I still believed Jessica, and I could work through whatever this phase was. Then came that Friday night. Jessica made my favorite pasta dish, which should have been my first warning sign. She only cooked elaborate meals when she wanted something. We ate mostly in silence. After dinner, she cleared the plates and sat back down across from me. Her hands were folded on the table, her expression serious. She said we needed to talk. My heart jumped. That evening, I went to a bar across town somewhere, Jessica, and I never went. I needed to be alone away from our apartment and the memories suffocating me there. I ordered a whiskey, then another. I was on my third when someone sat down next to me. It was Amanda. She looked surprised to see me. I must have looked terrible, because her expression immediately shifted to concern. She asked if I was okay. I laughed bitterly and said I had been better. She ordered a glass of wine and asked what happened. The alcohol loosened my tongue. I told her everything. The open relationship. Dylan. The nights Jessica did not come home. I watched Amanda's face change from surprise to anger. She said Jessica never told her about any of this. I could see she was genuinely shocked. Amanda admitted she always thought Jessica could be selfish, but they had been friends since freshman year of college, so she usually kept those observations to herself. She told me she had just gone through her own breakup 2 weeks ago. Her boyfriend of 4 years cheated on her with someone from his office. She understood betrayal. She understood feeling like you were not enough for someone. We talked for hours. The bar filled up and emptied out around us. We shared stories about our relationships, about the people who hurt us, about feeling lost. There was something comforting about talking to someone who genuinely understood the pain. Amanda was easy to talk to. She listened without judgment. She made me laugh for the first time in weeks when she imitated Jessica's self-help podcast voice. Around midnight, I offered to make sure she got home safely. We split an Uber. When we pulled up to her building, she hesitated before getting out. She turned to me and said, "Jessica does not deserve you, Alvin." She never did. Those words hit me harder than anything else that night. I watched her walk into her building, and I felt something shift inside me. Not attraction exactly, but recognition. Amanda saw me. Really saw me. Jessica had stopped seeing me months ago. A few days later, I was still processing everything when Jessica came home early. She was in an unusually good mood, singing as she walked through the door. She asked if I had started exploring, yet her tone casual, like she was asking about my day at work. I told her no. I said I was not interested in seeing other people. Her smile faded. She looked disappointed, frustrated even. She said I was being unfair. She was doing this. Why was I not? Did I want her to feel guilty? I stared at her and something clicked in my brain. This whole thing was never about us growing or exploring together. It was about absolving her guilt. She wanted to sleep with Dylan without being the bad guy. She wanted permission to cheat so she could feel morally superior about it. The open relationship was just a loophole, a way to have everything without consequences. I felt anger rising in my chest for the first time since this started. Real hot anger. Jessica must have seen it on my face because she changed tactics. She asked if maybe I just could not find anyone else. Was that it? Was I upset because no one wanted me? Her words were designed to cut, to make me feel small and worthless. And for a moment they worked. But then something harder settled in me. A resolve I had not felt before. I looked at her calmly and said, "You are right. Maybe I should try." Her expression shifted to satisfaction. She thought she had won. She said good, it was only fair. That night, she left again to meet Dylan. I waited until I heard her car pull away. Then I texted Amanda. We met at a different bar, a quieter place on the east side. Amanda arrived wearing jeans and a simple sweater, her hair pulled back. She looked tired but smiled when she saw me. We ordered drinks and found a booth in the back. I told her about the conversation with Jessica, about how she had basically taunted me into seeing other people. Amanda's jaw tightened. She said Jessica was manipulating me, that this entire situation had been about Dylan from the beginning. Then Amanda said something that changed everything. She admitted she had always had a small crush on me, even back when Jessica and I first started dating. But she respected our relationship, respected the boundary. She never acted on it, never even hinted at it. But now, sitting across from me, she said she did not see a relationship worth respecting anymore. She saw someone treating me terribly, and she was done watching it happen. We looked at each other across the table. The air between us felt charged, different from our previous conversations. I asked if she wanted to get out of there. She nodded without hesitation. We left the bar and drove to her apartment in silence, but it was not uncomfortable. It felt inevitable, like we were both walking towards something we had been avoiding. Her apartment was small but cozy, decorated with plants and artwork. We sat on her couch, and for a while we just talked. Really talked. About everything. Our childhoods, our fears, our dreams. She told me about wanting to open her own marketing firm someday. A resolve I had not felt before. I looked at her calmly and said, "You are right. Maybe I should try." Her expression shifted to satisfaction. She thought she had won. She said good, it was only fair. That night, she left again to meet Dylan. I waited until I heard her car pull away. Then I texted Amanda. We met at a different bar, a quieter place on the east side. Amanda arrived wearing jeans and a simple sweater, her hair pulled back. She looked tired but smiled when she saw me. I looked at her, at the honesty in her eyes, and I realized I wanted it to be real too. What happened next felt natural, not rushed or fueled by anger. It felt like two people who understood each other finally allowing themselves to connect. I woke up the next morning in Amanda's bed, sunlight streaming through the curtains. She was already awake, watching me with a small smile. I waited for regret to hit me, for guilt to crash down, but it did not come. Instead, I felt lighter than I had in months. Amanda felt the same. We talked about what this meant. We agreed to keep it between us for now, not out of shame, but because we wanted to see where it could go without outside pressure. Over the next 2 weeks, I saw Amanda 4 more times. We went to a museum, walked through a farmer's market, cooked dinner at her place. We talked about books and movies and music. She laughed at my terrible jokes. I listened to her dreams and ambitions. It was easy, effortless. Everything with Jessica had become work, constant negotiation, and walking on eggshells. With Amanda, I could just be myself. Jessica barely noticed my absence. She was so wrapped up in Dylan that she stopped asking about my day entirely. She came home less and less. When she was home, she was on her phone texting and smiling at her screen. Part of me wondered if she even remembered we were still technically together. Then came the day everything exploded. Amanda had invited Jessica over for coffee, something they used to do regularly before all this started. Jessica showed up at Amanda's apartment on a Saturday morning carrying pastries from their favorite bakery. She was trying to reconnect with her best friend, probably feeling guilty about neglecting her. They sat in Amanda's living room, catching up. Jessica talked about Dylan, about how exciting and spontaneous he was. Amanda listened, her expression neutral. Then Jessica stood up to use the bathroom. On her way, she noticed something on Amanda's coat rack by the door. My navy blue hoodie, the one with the faded university logo. Jessica recognized it immediately. I had worn it 1,000 times. When Jessica came back, she pointed at it and asked why my hoodie was there. She was smiling, assuming there was an innocent explanation. Maybe I left it there by accident during some group hangout. Amanda looked at her calmly and said it was mine. Jessica laughed and offered to bring it back to me. Amanda said that was not necessary. I would pick it up myself the next time I came over. The room went silent. Jessica's smile slowly faded. She asked what Amanda meant. Amanda did not sugarcoat it. She said we had been seeing each other. We had been spending time together. Jessica's face went pale, then red. She asked if Amanda was joking. Amanda shook her head. We had been sleeping together, she confirmed. Jessica reminded her about the open relationship. Right? Jessica stumbled backward like she had been slapped. She started shaking her head, her voice rising. She said I was sleeping with her boyfriend. Amanda's voice stayed level. She corrected her. I was Jessica's boyfriend, the one Jessica told to see other people. Or did she mean only she was allowed to do that? Jessica could not form words. Her mouth opened and closed. Then the anger came. She screamed that I was her boyfriend, not Amanda's. How could Amanda do this to her? After everything, after years of friendship, Amanda stood her ground. She said years of friendship where Jessica only talked about herself, only cared about her own problems. When had Jessica last asked Amanda how she was doing? When had she last been there for her? Jessica ignored the question and grabbed her phone. She called me right there, her hands shaking. I was at home working on my laptop. I saw her name flash on my screen and answered. She was crying and yelling at the same time, her words tumbling over each other. She said she knew what I did. How could I sleep with her best friend? How could I betray her like this? I stayed calm. I told her she wanted this. She set the rules. She pushed for the open relationship. I was just following the parameters she established. She screamed that it was not supposed to be with Amanda, not with someone she knew, someone close to her. I asked how sleeping with Dylan was any different. At least Amanda actually cared about me, actually listened when I talked, actually wanted to spend time with me. Jessica went quiet for a moment. Then she started crying harder. She said she would end things with Dylan. She would stop everything. She just wanted me back. Could we please go back to how things were? I took a deep breath. I told her there was no going back. What we had was over the moment she decided I was not enough for her. She begged. She said it was a mistake. She was confused. She did not know what she wanted. I said that was exactly the problem. She did not know what she wanted, but I did now. I wanted someone who chose me every single day, not someone who kept one foot out the door looking for something better. I told her we were done. Then I hung up. Jessica did not handle it well. She started texting me constantly, dozens of messages a day. She showed up at my apartment building, but I did not let her in. She called my friends, trying to get them to convince me to talk to her. But word had already spread about what happened. Our mutual friends knew she had pushed for the open relationship. They knew about Dylan. When they found out about Amanda, most of them understood. Some even said they saw it coming, that Amanda and I had always had good chemistry. Dylan found out about everything too. He called Jessica and ended whatever they had. He said he thought she was separated, nearly divorced. He did not sign up to be part of relationship drama. He did not want to be the guy who broke up a couple. Jessica lost both of us in the same week. She spiraled. She posted cryptic messages on social media about betrayal and fake friends. She told anyone who would listen that Amanda and I had an affair behind her back, conveniently leaving out the part about the open relationship being her idea. But the truth came out. Either I agreed to share her or I lost her completely. I did not sleep that night. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, feeling like my entire world was crumbling. By morning, I was exhausted and desperate. I told her I would try it. Her face lit up. She hugged me, kissed my cheek, and said I would not regret this. She promised we would be honest with each other about everything. I wanted to believe her. I needed to believe her. The next week was torture. She said she realized she had been selfish. She had taken me for granted. She thought the grass would be greener, but it was not. Dylan was exciting but shallow. He did not know her like I did. She said she understood if I could not forgive her, but she wanted me to know she was sorry. She hoped I would be happy, even if it was not with her. I read it once and never replied. There was nothing left to say. Amanda and I did not rush into anything official. We took our time learning each other properly. We went on actual dates, talked about our values and what we wanted from life. We made sure we were building something real, not just a reaction to our previous relationships. I started going to therapy to work through the betrayal and rebuild my sense of self-worth. Amanda did the same. We supported each other through the healing process. The first few months were hard. I grieved the 3 years I invested in Jessica, the future I thought we would have. I was angry at myself for not seeing the signs earlier, for agreeing to something that went against every instinct I had. But through therapy, I learned important lessons. Real love does not come with ultimatums. Real love does not ask you to share what should be sacred between two people. Open relationships work for some people, but using one as an excuse to cheat without guilt is not ethical non-monogamy. I saw her name flash on my screen and answered. She was crying and yelling at the same time, her words tumbling over each other. She said she knew what I did. How could I sleep with her best friend? How could I betray her like this? I stayed calm. I told her she wanted this. She set the rules. She pushed for the open relationship. I was just following the parameters she established. She screamed that it was not supposed to be with Amanda, not with someone she knew, someone close to her. 6 months after everything fell apart, Amanda and I made it official. Our friends were supportive. They could see how much happier I was. I smiled more. I laughed easier. I stopped walking on eggshells, afraid to say the wrong thing. Amanda and I moved in together after a year. We adopted a golden retriever puppy, the one I used to imagine getting with Jessica. We named him Copper. We cooked Sunday dinners together, took road trips down the coast, built a life based on trust and mutual respect. I never used that engagement ring I bought for Jessica. I returned it to the jeweler and got most of my money back. Sometimes I think about that night when Jessica asked for an open relationship, how close I came to just accepting a life of quiet misery. I am grateful I did not. I am grateful she pushed me far enough that I finally saw clearly. Last month I ran into Jessica at a coffee shop, the same one where we first met. She was alone, looked tired. We made brief eye contact. She gave me a small, sad smile. I nodded and turned back to my conversation with Amanda, who was telling me about a new client she landed for her marketing business. She had finally started her own firm and it was thriving. I was proud of her. I was proud of us. The lessons from all of this stay with me. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. Do not make excuses. Do not convince yourself it will get better. If someone loves you, they do not need an escape clause. They do not need to test the waters elsewhere while keeping you as a backup plan. Real love is a choice made every single day, a commitment that does not waver when something shiny and new appears. I saw her name flash on my screen and answered. She was crying and yelling at the same time, her words tumbling over each other. She said she knew what I did. How could I sleep with her best friend? How could I betray her like this? I stayed calm. I told her she wanted this. She set the rules. She pushed for the open relationship. I was just following the parameters she established. She screamed that it was not supposed to be with Amanda, not with someone she knew, someone close to her. She taught me what I do not want. She taught me to recognize manipulation and selfishness. She taught me that loving someone is not enough if they do not love you the same way back. Amanda taught me what partnership really looks like. She taught me that the right person makes everything easier, not harder. I still have moments where I wonder what would have happened if I had said no that night. If I had walked away when Jessica first mentioned the open relationship, would she have chosen Dylan over me? Probably. Would I have been devastated? Absolutely. But would I have eventually healed and found Amanda? Anyway, I like to think so. The universe has a funny way of putting people in your path exactly when you need them. Now, as I sit in that same coffee shop where my story with Jessica began, I feel nothing but peace. Amanda is next to me, sketching ideas for a new campaign. Copper is sleeping at our feet. This is what I was searching for all along. Not the dramatic highs and lows. Not the constant anxiety about whether I was enough. Just simple, steady, honest love. So what is the takeaway from all of this? If you are in a relationship where you constantly feel like you are not enough, where your partner is always looking for something more, listen to that feeling. You deserve someone who sees you and thinks they hit the jackpot, not someone who sees you as a consolation prize. You deserve someone who wants to grow with you, not away from you. And sometimes the person you think is your forever is actually just preparing you for the one who truly is. I never bought a new engagement ring. But something tells me when the time comes with Amanda, I will not need to overthink it. It will just feel right. And that is how love should feel. Not like a negotiation or a compromise or a constant source of anxiety. Just right. Have you ever been in a situation where someone's betrayal led you to something better? Have you had to make a difficult choice between holding on and letting go? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you do not miss future stories. Share this with someone who might need to hear it, someone who is struggling to see their worth in a relationship that does not value them. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it helps someone out there realize they deserve better. Stay strong, trust yourself, and remember that sometimes the worst thing that happens to you leads directly to the best thing. Take care of yourselves out there.